Okay, so today we're going to talk about friend functions, and these are related to the classes that we've been developing. Just as a basic overview, a friend is a special type of function that's not necessarily a member function, but it still has access to the private data within the class. That is, it's a friend of the class. And if you have friends, you know they have access to some of your private information, probably not all, but they have access to things that ordinary people don't. So that's the same idea with friend functions. So we've seen two types of functions so far. Member functions within a class. These are invoked by the calling object, and they have access to the member variables directly. So we can just use the name of the member variable. And then regular old functions. These are invoked by function name and arguments. And if we have a class that's or an object that's passed through to that function, then we have to use the accessor, mutator, member functions to get access to the private information. So it's a little bit less direct. So think about the patient class where we have the first name, last name, age, and height. Suppose we want to decide whether two patients are equal. Well, if they're equal, then they have to have all the same information, same first name, same last name, same age, and same height, and that would make them equal. So solution one is usually a regular function. Here is equal 1. We pass it patient 1 and patient 2. If 1.get first name is equal 2.get first name and 1.get last name is equal to 2.get last name, etc., then we return true. Otherwise, we return false. This isn't too bad, but it's a lot of accessor functions, and in any case, we're going to have a lot of comparisons for equality. So if we use the equal 1 function inside application code, we would basically pass it two patient objects, say test 3 and test 2. And basically, we would output the information that they are equal. Otherwise, we would output the information that they are not equal, depending on what equal 1 returned. And it's a little bit ugly. The other way to proceed is to use a member function. So here, this would be part of the patient class. And we would pass it an additional object of the patient class called 2. So for the first one, for the calling object, we can just use the member variable name, first name. But then we have to set it equal to 2.first name. See if it's equal to 2.first name, not set it equal. And last name is equal 2.last name, and age is equal 2.age, and height is equal to 2.get height. In that case, we'd return true. Otherwise, we return false. It's probably less natural. One is directly accessed and the other is not. So here's how we would call it. Test3 equal 2, and then pass it test2 to see whether they're equal. And so you pass one as a parameter to the other. You use the calling function. You get the member variable directly. Otherwise, you have to go through the accessor functions through the class interface. And so this one's kind of not the best solution. Solution 3 is a friend function. And the friend is a new kind of function. It's invoked like a non-member function. There's no calling object, so we invoke it like a regular function, but still has access to the member variables like a member function has. And we put the declaration inside the class definition, say, hey, it's a friend of the class. It can go ahead and access this information. So here we would put the declaration inside the class for patient. Say friend, bool, equal 3, and we're passing it to patients. Now, we kind of write it just like we did our regular function, except we don't have to do the accessor function. So this is a bit more natural. 1.first name is equal 2.first name, and last names are equal, and age and heights are equal. Then we return true, and otherwise we return false. And notice there's no accessors required or scope resolution operator. So this is an easier solution. And then we implement it in the application program like this. If equal 3 test 2, then those are the same patient. Otherwise, we basically say they're not identical. So if the function is related to a single object, then obviously use a member function, and the single object will call that function. If two or more objects need to be treated symmetrically, that is treated in the same way, use a friend function and pass the objects as arguments to that friend function, which will have access to their private data. Just as a little reminder, we had two types of things, pass by value and pass by reference. And pass by value, basically, we make a complete independent copy, but this can be problematic for classes because objects can be really large. And so that suggests call by reference to save a little bit on the timing of the program, but you still want to protect the member variables. You can use const before the pass by reference. And once you use const for an object parameter, you must always use it. So next time we're going to see an even better solution, which is overloading operators. So it'll make our application code completely natural. Thanks so much for watching.